God bless a child that has his own is a mantra that his father would say, that his grandmother would sing. Billie Holiday had him hooked in his younger days. That lady that sings the blues got him infused with the raw pain in the melody. Halafi did not cry when his grandmother died, or his father for that matter. That's why he pens with such passion, like he's trying to survive the rapture. From this point and therefore after, any word he masters scribes down in calligraphy. Halafi won't touch your spirit. God bless this child. Now you gonna hear it as soon as I write it. Leave my mouth, hit your ear, you memorize and recite it. This is God's plan, I promise you, there ain't nothing higher. I'm just a vessel that he used to motivate and inspire. I don't need no recognition. I just speak my soul through these words that I envision. Sweeter than grandma's cooking on Thanksgiving. So grab your plate, cause I'm serving up revolution like a T-bone steak. And I'm the A1 sauce when it comes to this wordplay.
How we doing today, folks? Welcome to season 4 of Just Convos. Today we have the great Daniel Grant with us, who has blessed us with his presence so we could talk about this book right here, Politically Correct. It's a great book. Me and Mr. Grant worked together, and I happened to one day came in with this great book, and he said, hey man, can you buy my book? I said, Danny, if I'm gonna buy your book, you gotta come on the pod to tell people about it. He said, no problem, Reef, I'll be here. So now today, Mr. Grant, I wanna thank you for coming.
Thanks,
and we're
for
going to have
me.
a conversation, and in some way, and then we're going to talk about this poetry.
Okay.
So first question I ask everybody is, where you go to school at? Are you a product of Philadelphia school systems?
I am and I'm not. 2 years I went to high school in Philadelphia. I went to William Penn High School and then I went to Roxborough High School. And I graduated in California, in Petaluma High School. So.
Okay. William Penn, what year was you in William Penn?
It was, telling my age now, but 1998.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous school at that time.
Yeah. A lot of project kids was in there.
It's amazing when you go by there now. It's all flat now. It's no more William Penn.
Nope.
And it's looks like a very peaceful area now compared to
What it used to be. Yeah,
compared to 1998.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, give you a little backstory about me and my man Dan right here. Me and Dan met in the labor's union. We worked together sporadically. Actually, he was a part of a story I told him season 1 when got to word this right. When one time we was in Michigan working in a job that was so crazy that we had to become crazy to get a certain amount of respect at this job because it was a certain people that didn't like us because who we were, and they didn't like they thought it was arrogance. They didn't like our confidence because we were took out to Michigan from Philadelphia, paid very well to come do a job that a lot of people don't know how to do. So when we came out there to do that job, the people who were there were so mad because we were getting paid so much money. We're getting a lot of pushback, as I say. Yeah. And it kind of boiled over one day till it was looking like something out of a Malcolm X movie. So my man Dan was here. He seen the whole thing happen.
Yeah, yes I did.
We're not gonna go too crazy because he's seen why I'm banned out of supervision to this day. But before we get into all that, Dan, I see you got this book about poetry.
Yeah.
What inspires you about poetry?
It's just, I'm a firm believer that words carry energy. Words are nothing but vibrations, and the right words can inspire, encourage, and motivate and move people. You know, there's a lot of great people through time who've just been powerful speakers. Marcus Garvey, MLK, Malcolm X, Huey P. Just name a couple of them. But I fell in love with words very young, and it's always stuck with me. So.
Okay. Pretty good. So if the good words, what do you think about bad words? What do you think bad words can do?
Depends on the circumstance.
I mean, it's like just like how you have poetry can make somebody, your poetry can inspire someone to do wrong. Mm-hmm. Do you think the wrong type of poetry can inspire somebody to do the wrong thing?
Yes, I do. I definitely believe that we live in a generation that is, honestly, I feel like R&B is gone. I feel like R&B used to be the I love yous and I want to be with yous. And
that's true.
That generation.
R&B is definitely, well, I'm not going to say shout out. The R&B that's promoted is shout out.
Yeah.
Because I've listened to some pretty good R&B this weekend. It's pretty decent. But yes, the R&B that's promoted.
But promoted, yeah, I'll definitely say that, yeah. Being promoted it's not like I'm falling in love with you. It's like I'm trying to get the draws, like
yesterday.
Like yesterday, right? Right.
And after I get done hitting it, my man can hit it and tap, 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 spin, spin, spin. I'll see you later, baby.
Right.
Nothing personal.
Right.
And take me off child support court when you get a chance.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking to.
Oh my God.
Nah. Just joking. So, how old were you when you wrote your first poem?
I think I was a late bloomer. I didn't start writing poetry until I was 16.
16.
Before that, I was more of an artist.
That's you did the art. He did the art on this cover. Pretty
I
dope.
did the cover art myself.
Cover art.
All the illustrations in the book I did myself. So.
Don't be mad at me. I did that too. Camera guy. You ain't like that one? So go ahead.
So yeah, I've been sketching since I could pick up a pencil. So I was really big into that at the time. But I just stumbled across some of my dad's old poetry. He never got anything published, and I just started reading it, and it was just like he had some real powerful stuff. So I just started from there. I just took my own shot.
So your art is an expression of who you are.
Yes.
And the
very
first
much
time you
so.
expressed yourself was through actual drawings of pictures and objects and things.
Yes.
And then it's safe to say that you found your father's writing
Yeah.
and probably bit his shit, the type of guy you are. you probably bit your pop shit. What you think? You think you bit some of it?
I can't say.
Inspirational.
I mean,
we won't never know because you said he never published it. So
No.
it sounds like you really.
No,
hey, Pops,
but-
he probably owe you a credit. So you better, get at him somewhere in here.
Oh,
Pops.
my God.
Somewhere in here, Pops, he probably got you, man.
You guys will see anyway when I drop my next book. But
Did you ever think about like publishing some of those joints that he had?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like it's necessary that his work be heard.
Okay, it's decent.
It was very inspirational, inspiring to me. I feel like it helped other people too. So I definitely want to do that. But I have not bitten any of his stuff. But
Okay.
some things are just genetics. My mannerisms, maybe certain way I pronounce things or say things when I'm performing, may be similar to him. But
Okay. Your pop currently is he still here with us?
No,
or?
he passed away.
Okay,
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty rough. dealing with-
Yeah, he was heart related. Yeah, actually, I was working in Salem at the time when it happened. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dang, it's crazy.
Yeah, but he left his mark on the world, and I try to look at it as I look at life differently now just because of that aspect. It's not what you can't leave with none of this money.
No.
It's really about who you touch and who you reach and the legacy you leave behind before you go. So, and I feel like he accomplished it.
So what was the vibe of? Because like how you said your pop was, how old was he? How old?
He was 55.
So those poems was probably written in the 70s or the 80s maybe.
I'd say, yeah, probably the 80s. 'Cause my dad was also a photographer. He was like,
Okay.
I feel like he gave up a lot of his dreams to be responsible
father,
and
yeah.
be a father. He was a photographer, and I'm talking back in the day when you had to do the black room, dark room, and do all that.
Very expensive. Very
Yeah.
expensive process, but a very sleek, very dope picture when
Yeah.
you really hit it. When you really hit it out the park, you hit it out the park. But you're not going to take 5,000 pictures like nowadays.
No. And
Now
like
you only
anybody
have
with a
put some
camera
of-
swears they're a photographer these days. Like,
Well, that's the camera. It's technology doing all the work. It's
Yeah.
not. It's no creativity in that. It's just. Pop, 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 pop.
yeah, but you still got to have an eye, though.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
take, that's talent, being able to see things in a certain angle and perspective, like, but long story short, I was just saying, like, he gave up on his dreams, like, to pursue something that was more substantial and long lasting. He went to the military and then became a cop for over, like, 25 years, so.
Okay. Okay. And you having kids yourself.
Yes, 2 boys.
So you understand, and I always talk about this whenever I bring people on here. It's a place that I say it's a lot of, and people gonna get tired of me saying it, but it's a place that's so real. It's like a graveyard for artists, and you're really alive walking around, but inside you're dead. And most people die like when they have to go to work, or some people they die because they never achieved what they wanted to achieve. So because they never achieved what they never wanted to achieve, they walk around in this delirious world, delusional world. Especially if they had a couple home runs. All they can do is talk about the home runs they had of that particular period.
Yeah.
So it's a saying that says, yesterday's home runs can't win today's games.
Right.
And a lot of people live off those accomplishments that while they are good and there is something to talk about, it doesn't stop this thing called life, because this thing called life keeps moving. So, and before you know it, you'll be talking about something that happened 10 years ago, but you haven't done nothing today.
Right.
So I understand why your pop had to make that sacrifice, because he had how many siblings?
I got a brother, so he had 2 boys just like me.
Oh, just like you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you really trying to be that man. Jesus Christ. Dang, reincarnated, baby. Dang. So your pop was the first person that inspired you.
Yeah.
What other poets did you ever get inspired by?
Definitely Black Ice. A lot of most Def.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of MCs, period, because poetry is literally, I feel like, the big brother to hip hop, you know.
Yep.
Nas is definitely, he is a storyteller, so he influenced me. Maya Angelou, Edgar Allan Poe, you know, it's like, because I grew up in you know, I went to the inner city schools, and then I went to school in California in the suburbs. I kind of got a taste of both type of, you know.
So you like Edgar Allan Poe? Edgar Allan Poe. That's the guy with the heartbeat behind the wall, the poem, like on 7th and Spring Garden or something. And then the Edgar Allan Poe.
He is
house?
on Spring Garden, yes.
There's some bullshit poetry about that.
The Raven.
Yeah, the Raven. There we go. Come on, man. Look at me like I'm crazy, man. I don't listen. I'm not a poet. And in fact, how old are you? How old are you? Well,
I'm 39.
I'm not going by that.
I'm
But
39.
this is the problem with you whitewash African Americans.
Oh, geez.
How can I
here we
ask
go.
you? How can I ask you about poetry, and you don't even bring up Langston Hughes? A Dream Deferred, Langston Hughes. That's got to be like the greatest poem ever written. Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
What's why the Cage Bird Sings?
That's Maya Angelou.
Okay.
That was the first book I ever read. My first book I ever read. I probably was like 11 years old. It was the first book. It freaked me out though, man. Like all that about molestation, it freaked me out, man.
The first book you read was a poetry book, huh?
Yeah, that's not a poem. That was her life story.
Oh.
Yeah. Why I know what the Cage Bird Sing is that's actually her life story. She talked about how she left from the main part about it, because I had to sit in front of the class and talk about it. I remember them eating cold chicken on the bus coming up to wherever town they left from down south. So I tried to explain that to the class, and everybody's like, "We love cold chicken." I was like, "Cold chicken not better than hot chicken," but it was like a big debate this day about cold chicken versus hot chicken, and I like hot chicken better. But anyway, yeah,
All right.
I had that was the first book I ever read cover to cover, and I probably was like 11 years old or something like that. But yeah. I know a Cage Bird Sing was definitely a dope book, but like Langston Hughes, Paul Lawrence Dunbar was something I had to study a lot growing up.
Okay.
There's poems that they like ran them in my head when I was young, so I always had to like learn those poems.
I mean, I had to do Shakespeare.
I hated Shakespeare.
But it's just like after like those type of, like, you can't really, all those thous and forths and all that. I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about after a while.
You know what's crazy about Shakespeare? When you find somebody that really love it and they explain it to you while you're reading it. Like in high school, I had an English teacher. I think his name Peter Muller, can't remember his name. He loved Shakespeare, and like when we read it, to us it's a bunch of thou, the. So I'm like, man, this shit is whack, man. Like I used to be in this shit like, oh, and then he would make you go around robbing to read. So when your part come up, you got to get ready to your joints. So all that thing I remember him saying is, E tu brute, E tu. And when he act out E tu brute, I use it to this day though, because it's like, damn, you too, Brutus? Like everybody stabbed him in the, like even when Brutus did the shit to Shakespeare or Caesar, whoever the hell he was, Caesar, I think it was.
Caesar.
Yeah, when he stabbed Caesar in the back, it's E tu. So whenever one of my friends stabbed me in the back, all I say is E tu brute, E tu, but you know, but
Brutus.
Yeah, but even that though, that's about the most Shakespeare I remember. I mean, I had to read them because it was a part of the curriculum, but correct. I didn't like none of it. Yeah. I mean, I guess you had to be alive at the time to understand it. But for me, I can imagine the kids nowadays with their ADHD and all them pills they on. I know they can't make it through a half of it. You know what I mean?
I think people don't understand that poetry is also dated just like artwork is. So just like they look at artwork on the wall and they can tell you what period it came from, what type of oils and paints they used. It's the same with poetry. Everything is stamped. Most the famous poets normally talk about things that are happening now.
So poetry is like news.
Basically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I never looked at it. I mean, but yeah, that's what they say hip hop is. Hip hop is the CNN of the area isn't being made at.
Right.
That's pretty good, man. See that, Dan? Sometimes you surprise me, man. You know.
Oh, a little something.
Someday, I mean, I don't know why you're in here with these glasses on, but like, I'm really feeling this doogie, this vibe. I was just really like guess you smoked a big one outside somewhere, a cigarette or something, and you come in and you chilling.
It's a lot of lights, man.
A lot of lights in here, a lot of lights. You don't want to mess up your shine in this joint. You got to block them off. So let's talk about the book, man. Like,
Okay.
Poetically correct?
Yeah, poetically correct. Yes.
Poetically correct. What's the meaning of that title? What's that about?
I feel like when you talk about politically correct, you talk about how, you know, you got to say things a certain way. You don't want to offend a certain people. You know, you have to use the PC term or whatever other word they want to use for that. But poetically correct, I feel like it's my way of basically saying that you're able to speak your truth. Okay. And your truth is always correct, you know, because you're talking about it from your perspective. So that's basically what, to me, poetically correct means.
Okay. And Prodigy. Please break down Prodigy, because I think it's maybe the first one in there, right?
Yeah. So Prodigy is just my way of describing to people who don't know me, my parents, you know. In the beginning, I just basically talk about their talents, you know, and then I talk about how both of those talents I use, and then how I explain to my kids how they inherited something that's not tangible. It's in you, but just like anything else, you gotta work on it. You gotta work it just like you gotta work muscles, you know.
Okay.
Just because you were born with a talent don't mean you're gonna be good at it if you don't nurture it, you know, give it the time and attention it needs. So, you know, in the beginning of the poem, I'm talking about my parents. By the end of the poem, I'm talking to my son and telling him how this is what I'm passing on to you, something that you have that you don't even know you have. So, but yeah, that's
So
Prodigy.
So it's like the saying, it's not on you, it's in you.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did your sons, they were receptive to this, or?
Yeah. Well, my oldest son is autistic, so he's partially verbal. So he can hear me read the poem, but he won't really respond or give me any critiques on it. My youngest son actually had an event in Virginia Beach. It was Brims, Beards, and Brunch, and it was a bunch of brothers. We all wore suits. We went out. It's a networking event, and I brought my son, my youngest son, and we both wore suits, and we went out, and they asked me to do a poem, and I did that Prodigy because he was there, and it was well received. It was the first time my son got to see me perform, and, and he loved it. So yeah,
lived every minute of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So your poetry. We're gonna get back to the book, but I was just thinking about like so your poetry. How far has that poetry taken you? Like I know you had a moment this year.
Yeah, I for the first time I got like over 1 million views on anything I've done. Before that, I got 100,000 because I did a poem at it was another event, black menswear suits in front of the art museum, and I did a poem there, and it got like 100,000 views. But I did an event at Voices in Power, and I got 2.2 million views today on one poem. So, and that kind of shot me up a little bit. You know, a lot more followers, a lot more recognition. People asked me to perform other places. So that was a big stepping stone. So.
And what was it like when it was happening? Like, what is it like when you hit that moment? Is it like oh shit, they really like me?
Yeah, it was. It was. It was inspiring and flattering and funny at the same time because I never got so many comments on something, and like you the Riz King. I didn't even know what Riz was. You know, I learned out Riz is charisma, and then
I didn't know that either. I was about to ask you.
Yeah.
I thought it was some freaky or something.
No. And then you know, some people said I look like Kevin Hart and Kanye had a baby. Like, so it was just, the comments ranged all over the place, but it was just, mostly it was good feedback, you know?
So the majority of it was good feedback, but you always have your reefs.
Yeah. yeah, someone gotta say something, so.
Yeah, okay. So, Love at First Sight, what inspired that poem?
A woman. Pretty much, I met her. First time I met her, didn't really know her that well, but I felt like there was a connection, and I'm not the type of person when I write anyway. I write what I feel, and I like it to come out organically. So I don't really sit down and like, all right, now I'm gonna write. It's more like I'm inspired to write something, then I go sit down and write.
Okay.
You know, so that's kind of what happened. Our interaction was just so organic and unique, and we were both Capricorns, and it was her mom's birthday, so I ended up meeting her mom, and it was just cool. And when we separated, you know, I got her Instagram, you know, and then it was cool. So I was just like, I was in the mood to write, and I just started writing, and that just happened, and it's one of the favorites to perform. So.
And this is recently, or this is like back in the day?
No, this wasn't recently. This is at least 6 years ago. So.
Okay. So Love at First Sight still ain't in your sight no more.
Nah, not at all.
So where's the poem about this goddamn woman? I don't see that. Is that her businesswoman?
Businesswoman.
Did she become businesswoman after Love at First Sight?
Maybe, actually, maybe.
I don't want to open up no bad scars, but I mean, like, did it from there though? It kind of just faded off.
Yeah, it kind of faded off, but I try not to write
the bad stuff.
Not bad things about people in poems. Like, I might write about bad situations, but you'll never know who I'm talking about.
Did you sleep under a bad text?
No.
You got to give them a bad text sometimes, man. You stinking mother.
Karma's always the better teacher.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, Love at First Sight, man. So it's funny, man. I always got this thing I tell people, like, especially in relationships, like the first 90 days are like amazing in relationships to me.
They are.
And then after that, if you can't bottle up that 90 days, then that shit gonna wither away in about 20 seconds. But like that Love at First Sight is like that. It's like that
honeymoon phase.
That honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
But it's funny, man, because it's like everybody in life and in relationships, everybody loved the honeymoon phase. And even though it doesn't last long, I seen one time where Michelle Obama says you have to be with somebody, and if y'all together for 30 years, 10 of those years may be bad. You think you could stay with somebody for 10 years, they're gonna be bad? Like,
that's rough. I mean,
but look what they wound up doing.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I think, like, especially like our generation, even generation before us, I think a lot of us hit the parachute sometimes too quick. Yeah. Some of us gotta hit the parachute though, because if we don't, we're gonna implode.
That part too.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, so like in relationships, like in these poems, like, do you ever think sometimes, like, man, I should give him some more of the or you like, nah, I ain't touching that part?
It's like, I like to emphasize things that I know other women can relate to. So if it happened to me, I might talk about it, but I'm not going to specifically name the person.
No.
But I definitely.
But I'm talking about, like, those 10 bad. You know, like I said, it's a 30-year relationship.
Yeah.
But 10 of those years, you could be like, if I come in here today, I'm gonna put a head through the wall. I'm not saying that you're a abusive guy, but I'm just saying you could feel like putting somebody's head through the wall. I'm not saying that you would put somebody's head through the wall. But
people. In circumstances, people think a lot of things that they never really actually act on.
Definitely.
So, I mean, yeah, I've had situations where I felt like, but I know how to compartmentalize or separate myself.
Yeah. Small potatoes.
Yeah,
small
like,
potatoes.
In our line of work, you know, that's something you gotta be equipped with.
Hey, man, I had a moment. That's where I did. It got me banned out of management.
Right.
But it's something. Even going back to that though, one time. You made a comment about that job, because it's funny, you probably don't remember it, but like with me, when it comes to young black men, one thing I always wanted to do is have our economics straight. And we were up there, and like I said, we were all getting paid a pretty penny. Like every day, I mean every week was almost, like they say sometimes, it was like a tax return. It was like every check was like a tax return. And then at one point, shit, guys were only working 3 days a week, if that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I said that to say, like, so it was quite the job. But then one time he was talking about it, and he was like, man, the first job I ever seen so many black guys. And said Reef had everybody in there getting stock accounts. Like you remember we talked about that. Like, I really was up there telling them young guys, like, look, man, they don't waste y'all money. And I don't know how long this is gonna last. This is a blimp in the matrix.
Right,
this is
this
your
is a
chance.
once-in-a-lifetime
Yeah, like once in a
thing.
lifetime. I said this is your chance to come up. Like, and I was dead serious with them young guys. Like, man, look, get them stock accounts down. Everybody might took their money out and mess it up or something, but I know at that point in that time, I would have everybody like, all right, pull it out. What you working with? What's going on? What you buying? Why are you buying it? What's going on? Like that for me was like something different when it comes to our youth. Because if we don't get the youth, and I'm not saying like my peers gonna do whatever they want to do, but the younger people, I try to give them a little bit of game. Like, nah, man, y'all don't want to do that. Even though I think there's some at the end of the job, some guys had like $30,000 earrings,
It was blowing in.
drop top Mustangs. I seen it all, man. You know what I'm saying? But
Man, all you can do is, you can lead them to the water. You can't make them fish.
yeah, but even some of the ones that did buy the lavish stuff, they did invest some of that money. So that was like damn, they listened a little bit. You know what I mean?
But that was just. I mean, I still tell that story, like, cause that was like, before that I didn't have any. I had no. I'm not saying I didn't have any idea. I just never invested in stocks. Period. But we were making so much money, and the buzz around the break room, everybody talk about you invest in this, you invest in that. So I took my. I did my due diligence, and I tried to invest smart and safe. In things that I knew was gonna bounce back. So, like the airlines, like that was
that was a layup.
That was easy. Like they when COVID hit, everything was down.
Went low, yeah.
Like $30 a share on each one, down $30. So when you put the money down, all you had to do is wait for ride it out until the airlines go back up, and you doubled your money.
And at that time, you had enough money to ride it out, because actually the money that you put in that probably would have been the money somebody bought sneakers, bought something that they didn't really need. You know what I mean? And it probably would have been something dope, but you try putting your money in this vehicle because you want the money to work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was definitely a pivotal moment in my life. I was like, I never made so much money so fast, and it was faster than the money I was making at the job. Like, I woke up like, I felt like a broker. I knew the market opened at 9:30 every morning.
I gotta see the market. I gotta see
I
the
gotta
market.
see what's going
I gotta
on.
see the market, man.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? I gotta see the market. Before I do anything, I gotta see this market. I gotta
Right.
see this market. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not the stuff that we are taught, young growing up.
No.
We never had a class for it. The education system, no matter how good it was, it very rarely ever taught about stocks. I remember the first time I seen stocks in the Inquirer when I was young. The words were so small. I was like, nah, Dad, I don't understand this. And he was like, yeah, I know you don't, but just one day you'll learn about it. But back then, technology made it so much more appealing, so much more sexier.
Yeah,
But-
like when we were growing up, if you wanted to invest in the market, you had to have a broker.
Had to have a broker.
And
Yes,
a
you
broker
did.
wasn't going.
And it was fees.
Yeah,
And
it
it was
wasn't.
fees.
Wasn't even looking at you if you wasn't coming with 10 stacks.
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, it was fees all day,
Yeah.
and it was a different type of language that if you didn't have access to that language, you wouldn't have understood what you was doing
Right.
or how you was doing it. That's one thing I do like about the internet, how it broke down us to be able to, but even pivoting back here, like with your book, like because of online, because you went viral, this book is going to mean more now. You know what I mean? As you be able to tell people like, hey, check me out, check out these poems and stuff. You know what I mean? So, what things do you have coming up this summer as far as live performances?
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually have a performance coming up this Thursday.
This Thursday. Where is that? Talk about
It's
it, man.
Funky Verbs, Funky Words. It's on my Instagram page, BTC_MC. I can't think of the actual venue off the top of my head, but the lineup is going to be dope. Each poet gets 10 minutes apiece, so if you are interested or you're available, come see me. But yeah, it's going to be a good vibe. I'm also working on my second book. This is going to be a collaboration of me and my father's work, so
Okay.
I don't have a title for it yet. I want it to be something good, so I'm still working on that. But by the end of this year, I should have that book done too. So
Now, do you have any recordings on your pop doing the actual stuff?
I
or no?
wish. No,
Not his voice or nothing?
not his voice.
You don't have
I
his voice
wish.
on nothing?
Nope, not one poem.
It's crazy because of AI. Not even saying it's just his voice, like maybe
Oh,
like
okay,
answering
you
machine
can
or something.
use AI.
Because the AI now, you could just like snatch somebody's voice nowadays. And that,
I
yeah.
started this Jay-Z verse, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even him.
It wasn't him,
was
yeah.
AI.
Yeah, that's where we at. That's where
That's
we at
crazy.
now. I mean, so if you got like an old person, like just make sure if you got somebody talking on camera or something, keep it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth something one day, like because of what you can do with these vocals now. Like, you might want to have something you leave to your kid or something, and just have that, that vocal.
Use the voice. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's different now, man. We live in a different world, like compared to what we're used to.
Completely different.
So yeah, that's gonna be something
3D
dope.
printers, AI, self-driving cars.
Oh baby, it's going down, and it's just getting started.
Right,
It's just
it
getting
is.
started. It's just getting started, man. So yeah, this right here was a pretty dope read. Definitely a dope read. I loved every part of it.
Appreciate that.
Anything else you want to tell these people?
Keep watching my man. He's good peoples, man, and I'm
He
glad
charged
that
me for the book, though.
I'm glad you're right, I did, because I'm still a businessman at the end of the day.
Charge me for the book though.
Nah, man, I appreciate this, man. Like he's always had my back, man. He's always been trying to steer me in the right direction. Not even just on no, like just man to man type thing. So man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, player.
And inviting me in your space and everything.
Oh man, I'm glad you took the invite. Other than that, man, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is another great day. Just conversations. Oh, I'm sorry, just convos. But I like just conversations. But we're gonna do just convos. Thank you very much. Good night.